Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and welcome to the weekend astrology forecast for this exciting, amazing, intense, fiery kickoff to the rest of the year. Saturday and Sunday, July 22nd and 23rd of 2023. It's going to be exciting, stupendous, marvelous, insane, wild, out there. So many words, passionate, fiery. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started here. Like, are y'all ready? Are y'all ready, man? Are you ready? Just be like, what's his freaking? I can't remember his freaking name. The guy that does the announcing for the UFC. It's time. Like that's literally this weekend, right? So we are here. Made it. The day that sun moves in to Leo, Lionsgate portal, and Venus stations retrograde. We got a good show for you guys. I got a lot to talk about. Definitely going, and I'm going to be diving deep into the Venus retrograde and how we are experiencing something. We are kicking off a cycle. The last time that this cycle was experienced, is it raining? It is raining. It's like storming outside. The last time that we experienced this cycle that we are about to begin, it's a 40-year cycle, mind you. The last time that we experienced this cycle was 251 years ago. So unless you're over 250 years old, you haven't experienced this yet. No one has. So no pressure. Give yourself some grace because we're all are navigating waters that we have not experienced before. And yeah, while we may have the accounts of people that lived back then, no one here was alive back then. So we can only really guesstimate. We really don't know. We don't really have that big of much of a basis to know. We have a little bit based off history, what people wrote down and stuff like that. But this is going to be something new for all of us. Let's hop into it. Okay? All right. So we do have that moon starting off in Virgo, 20 degrees. And we do, of course, have the sun here at 29 degrees, opposed Pluto. Right? Starts off the day that way. And we're going to be pretty much experiencing this throughout most of the day. The sun doesn't enter into Leo until later on in the evening, around close to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to be experiencing this all day. Right? So I talked about this opposition yesterday, how this is a major boss battle, essentially, right? So definitely, I still encourage you, if you haven't already, check out yesterday's forecast for the 21st. I definitely went very deep. It was a lot to unpackage there. You know what I mean? So it's like when I'm channeling these energies and these planets and stuff like that, it's I have to use these different metaphors to kind of explain what it is that's actually going on, because sometimes it's hard to actually put it and encapsulate it into words, just how massive and powerful some of these transits are. And I think a lot of these things, we're not really going to know it until down the road, several months, years even from now, where we realize and we look back like, wow, those were really critical times, right? So sun opposed Pluto in Capricorn. The last time we're going to get this in our lifetime. So next time the sun comes into Leo, or the next time the sun comes into Cancer, Pluto will be in Aquarius the entire time. So we're not going to get this energy again, right? Now, as you continue to move the day forward, hour by hour, you will see the moon make a nice little trine over to Uranus. You're at 22 degrees here, right? So, in 22, it nets to a 4, which is actually the number of Uranus. So there's definitely going to be this element here where we're going to be looking for some type of belonging, but also this could bring about a bit of a rebellion energy, where the moon being here in Virgo is definitely looking for things to be kind of exact and want to have all the details kind of ironed out, if you will. There's this element here, especially with Uranus being in the decan ruled by Saturn and the moon being in the decan ruled by Venus. Venus is about to retrograde on this day, and Saturn is already retrograde in Pisces. There's definitely this element where it's like when it comes to like how well we'll put together the neatness of everything and like what we truly value and all this sort of stuff, there's definitely some rebellion kind of energy going along there, right? There definitely can be this element where it's like this is the kind of energy where like someone just is like they're tired of wearing the same thing to work every day, and they just like they've been doing it over and over and over and over again, and then finally they just want I just want to express myself. This is the kind of energy where someone will just go get a tattoo out of randomly nowhere, or a piercing, or dye their hair out of nowhere, just to kind of change up the energy a bit, almost as a sort of like rebellion against maybe the norms or the rules that someone may have laid down, whether they are self-imposed rules or if they're rules sent down by a boss or rules sent down by a parent. It's definitely going to be this sort of pull with all of these energies, right? Especially with Venus about to go retrograde. This is going to be like energy where we're going to want to do almost anything to kind of feel better. Do we want to do anything to try to feel our creativity and express it, right? There's definitely going to be a little bit of an urge here to just kind of go outside the box a little bit more than we usually would, right? Now, we do have, and it's a trine, like I said, right? So it's a harmonious aspect, but it's definitely going to be sort of like we're going to want to kind of like come out of that shell a little bit, if you will. Now, as you continue to move the day forward, we will see pretty much right before, you can see 29:45, right? You can pretty much see like right before things really start to kick off, we're going to have that moon hit 27 degrees. This is around 8:33, about an hour, mind you, before Venus retrogrades. We're going to have the moon oppose Saturn, or not Saturn, excuse me, Neptune at 27 degrees, right? So yeah, this is going to be sort of like this is the moment where it's like you get the tattoo at 22 degrees, and then Moon opposes Neptune, and then that's when like you kind of wake up to the reality of what you just did, and you're like, oh, okay, and then you have to kind of live with the consequences, be them positive or negative. But this is going to be the moment where it's sort of like, oh, now I got to live with this. This is the moment when your parent finds out that you got a tattoo without their permission. This is the moment where maybe you made like an impulse buy. You know what I mean? That's trying to like that. You're wanting to try and fulfill some type of you kind of want to break outside of the norms, outside the box, outside of the routine a little bit, and you do some sort of impulse buy, you do something impulsive when the moon opposes Neptune, and that's going to be that sort of moment where it's like, oh, okay, all right. Then this is where you really start to deal with the consequences of those actions if you took any crazy actions during that moment, or if you just kind of let it move on by. But there's definitely a potential for impulse stuff today. Impulse buys, like I said, impulse piercings, tattoos, dye your hair. Those are just some examples. It doesn't necessarily have to be that. Your impulse thing can be like, this is the kind of energy where it's like a health nut that's just like super healthy all the time and doesn't really eat any junk food at all. This is the moment where they buy pizza or ice cream, and they haven't had pizza or ice cream in months, maybe even years, and they just decide, you know what, fuck my diet. I'm going to go have some pizza. I'm going to go have some ice cream. The opposite could also be true. The opposite could be true where someone who normally eats just junk food decides to eat a salad. Like, it's that kind of an energy, right? So just to kind of break up the norm, to kind of throw a wrench into things. That's what Uranus does anyway. It likes to throw a wrench into the norms and be like, yo, look at all this cool dynamic energy. Look how unique things could be when you just have things like kind of bam, 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 bam. Now, mind you, it is in Taurus, so these things may take a little bit longer to work. These chain reactions with Uranus may take a little bit longer to sort of manifest, but they'll still manifest nonetheless. It's moon opposed Neptune before it goes into Libra, and it's also, of course, going to trine Pluto as well, which is more of a Sunday aspect, but we do have that going on, the opposition. So it's sort of like a wake-up moment, if you will, especially since Neptune is retrograde, so he is awake, right? Now, I move this forward just 1 hour, 9:33, and bam, Venus goes retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo. We have the sun at 29:59 of Cancer, right? And I will switch this to minutes so you can see just how short between the actual retrograde and the sun ingress into Leo is. It's 9:33. Bam. Saw that? Yep. Pretty much 9:50, 9:51. The sun shifts into Leo, and it is Leo season, right? Venus is now retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo. I probably will make a video later on kind of going, maybe just drawing cards for the 12 signs as far as this goes. I may actually do that. I might integrate that into this video, actually, just drawing cards for each of the 12 signs. But I want to show you guys some things because I was doing some research, of course, about this whole cycle. So Venus is going to retrograde in Leo for 40 days and 40 nights. Now, the last time that Venus retrograded at 28 degrees of Leo and had its entire retrograde in the sign of Leo, the last time that this happened was back in 1772. Now I'm going to show you guys that as well. So let's see which one. No, that's not it. Let's see. So let me go to events. And we are going to go back to, let's see, July. Wait a second. 72. Okay. All right. Oh, what did I put? I meant to put 1772, not 11. Jesus. There you go. That's what I meant to do. Yeah, that's better. Okay. All right. So, July 22nd, 1772. This is the last time that Venus retrograde at this exact degree. Because if you go 8 years previously, which would be what, 1772. So if you go 8 years previously, and I don't know if it's actually going to show you like all the things that I'm looking for. So let me actually I wonder if I can show you guys. I want to kind of just walk you guys through it so you can see what I'm seeing too. Yeah. So, all right. So July 22nd, 1772 is the last time that Venus retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo. Now Venus has a 8-year cycle. So if you want to look at when was the last time that Venus was retrograde in a particular sign, you will go back 8 years. So 1772. So all we have to do is go back to 1764. Now, if you do this, though, mind you, what you're going to discover is that it started in Virgo. 1764 started in Virgo, so it wasn't exclusively in Leo, right? So that's why you go to 1772, and you'll see that it retrograded at 28 degrees of Leo, 1772, right? We're going to calculate that chart fast, and then I'm going to show you guys that chart. Settings. Well, not settings. That's not what I meant to do. Let's see. No. I'm clicking the wrong things. All right. Share screen now. All right. All right. So Venus turns retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo. This was July 22nd, 1772. It's the last time that this happened, right? It was on top of Saturn, which is pretty intense, right? It's on top of Saturn, right? Jupiter was here in Pisces. Pluto was in Capricorn, but it was at 19 degrees, mind you, right? So, and the sun, of course, was getting ready to come into Leo. Mercury was also in Leo. Neptune was in Virgo instead of where it is in Pisces right now. And the nodes were also different. The north node is in Libra as opposed to it being in Aries, and then vice versa. And the moon is all the way over here in Aries, getting ready to go into Taurus. And Uranus, of course, is at 23 degrees of Taurus, so it's pretty much in the exact same spot, just 1 degree off. This was the last time that we experienced of Venus turning retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo. Now, if you want to look at this full cycle, it's a 40-year cycle. And I'll show you guys that as well. So because Venus from starting, and this is going to happen now too, now that Venus is turning retrograde here on Saturday, we're going to experience Venus retrograde solely in Leo over the next 40 years or so. But it's like every 8 years. And then after that, it'll start in Leo and go back into Cancer, right? So we're going to experience this several times. Then the last time it'll happen will be in 2063, right? So we have 40 years until then. But, and I'll show you guys, right? So stop sharing, and I'm going to show you guys again. We're going to go back to this one right here, right? So where did it go? Hold on. How come it's not doing what I want it to do? Hold on. Let me do this. Let me do something real fast. Let me figure out how come. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. I was sitting there trying to figure out what was going on. All right, bam. All right, so 1772, right? So we're going to go forward 8 years, right? So we're going to go to 1780, right? Venus turns retrograde at 26 degrees of Leo. It turns direct at 9 degrees of Leo, all right? Now we're going to go to 1788, all right? 1788, Venus turns retrograde at 24 degrees Leo. It turns direct at 7 degrees of Leo. Okay, that was 88. Now we're going to go to 1796. All right, 1796, Venus turns retrograde at 21 degrees of Leo, and it turns direct at 5 degrees of Leo. All right, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Now we're going to go to 1804. 1804, Venus turns retrograde in Leo at 19 degrees, and it turns direct at 3 degrees of Leo in August of that same year. Now we're going to go one more, and this will be the last time you see it. 1812, Venus turns retrograde at 17 degrees of Leo, and it turns direct at 1 degree of Leo on August 23rd. And just for the sake of just showing you guys, we will go to 1820 and show you. Venus turns retrograde at 15 degrees of Leo. It turns direct at 29 degrees of Cancer. So that ends the cycle of just Venus retrogrades in Leos every 8 years. It's a 40-year cycle. So that ends it right there, pretty much. So intense, right? So the last time that we had a Venus solely retrograde in the sign of Leo was from July 11th, 1812 to August 23rd of 1812. That was the last time that we experienced this, right? So if we just do the math on how long ago that freaking was, and that ended the 40-year cycle of Venus retrogrades in Leo from 1772 to 1812. It's an interesting 40-year cycle, 40-day, 40 nights retrograde. It's all symmetry. It's all geometry. It's all math. It's all perfect. It's freaking perfect. It's beautiful, right? So, yeah, 2023 minus 1812. So that was 211 years ago. It's the last time that we had something that was similar to what we're experiencing. Now, I think it's interesting how literally Venus is retrograding at the exact same degrees and going direct at the exact same degrees as it did in 1772, which was leading up, of course, to, the United States gaining its independence and all that sort of stuff. I think it's interesting how all of that lined up, right? So I'll stop sharing the screen right there, and then we'll get back to the day. Let's see, where am I at? I'm gonna just click now. Okay, cool. And then let's see. Saturday in the park. Display points. no, not display points. I'm meant to go to Deccan/ruler. Okay, cool. All right, present, share screen, bam, bam, bam. Okay, cool. So I just gave you a little bit of a history lesson as far as like the last time that we did this. I could go a little bit further as far as like what events were happening during that time, but I just wanted to show you guys the last time that we had this 40-year cycle of Venus retrogrades in just Leo alone was from 1772 to 1812. We're about to experience that again from 2023 to 2063, and it'll be the same thing, same dates too, mind you, from July 22nd to September 3rd. We're going to have Venus retrograding at 28 degrees of Leo, right? We're going to have it, that's where it's going to be. And it's going to come direct at 12 degrees of Leo. And July 11th of 2063, it's going to retrograde at 17 degrees of Leo and go direct at 1 degree of Leo on August 23rd. Same days of the year, same degrees. Like, you can't make this stuff up. You might as well show you guys that too, right? So we might as well go to, hold on, let me go events, and then we will do the same thing. We'll do the same thing, okay? So let's see. I'm going to type this in. Here, I'll show you guys as I'm like typing it in too. So I'll stop sharing that one. And then I'm going to share. This is the sort of stuff that I look at, y'all. Like, this is the sort of stuff that like gets me excited, right? So I'm going to go here, and then we're going to go to, we'll just do 2023, right? Okay, awesome. All right, cool. So bam, this is what we got right now. You know, Venus turns retrograde at 28 degrees of Leo, July 22nd, 2023, right? Venus turns direct at 12 degrees of Leo, September 3rd, 2023. Okay, so now you know what the game is. We're going to jump forward 8 years. We're going to jump to 2031. All right, retrograde 26 degrees of Leo, July 20th, 2031. Turns direct at 10 degrees on September 1st. At 10 degrees. All right, you know the drill. We're going to go forward another 8 years to 2039. Venus turns retrograde at 24 degrees of Leo, July 18, 2039. And then it will turn direct at 7 degrees of Leo, August 30th of 2039. You know the drill. Another 8 years, we're going to jump ahead to 2047. Retrograde at 22 degrees of Leo. Turns direct at 5 degrees of Leo. You already know. 2055. Turns retrograde at 19 degrees of Leo. 2055. Turns direct on August 25th, 2055 at 3 degrees of Leo. We got one more. Let's go to 2063. 17 degrees of Leo retrograde on July 11, 2063, which matches up to July 11th, 1812, which was the last time that Leo retrograded at 17 degrees and did its whole retrograde season period through the sign of Leo. And then, bam, direct at 1 degrees of Leo. Let's go forward another 8 years, shall we? To 2071. Might as well, right? Might as well have some fun with it. Oh, retrogrades at 15 degrees of Leo and goes direct at 29 degrees of Cancer. And you know what's interesting about this too? Is that is the degree that we are experiencing the Sun opposed Pluto. It all comes full circle. History rhymes. Doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. This degree of 29 degrees of Cancer is being activated. And it's being activated today. You know, it's being activated today over this weekend. It was activated. So that was 1812. It was activated in 1820, right? It was activated in 1820. It was the last time that Venus retrograded in Leo went back into Cancer. It activated back then. And it will activate again in 2063. It's a 40-year cycle every time that this dance happens, right? So let's go back to this right here. Yeah, like my staff. I got my staff today. Ooh, I got my staff right here. And I also have my sword right here too. So, yeah, got my sword and I got my staff. So, just wanted to bring those out today. So, yeah. Sun moves into Leo, the Lion's Gate, the moment where the sun is back home and we are really wanting to feel the positivity. But Venus, of course, is retrograde. So we may not necessarily feel 100%. We may not feel 100% put together. We may not feel 100% beautiful. We may not feel like we're ready to step into this new world. We may feel like we're lacking something. We may feel like we're not fully put together. Our hair is messed up. Makeup isn't really your hair is just not really working with you today. The humidity is causing it to frizz up, right? Maybe you nicked yourself while shaving, right? Maybe like putting on your makeup is just not exactly working out. Maybe you look in the closet and you don't like any of the clothes in there. Maybe there's going to be so much of this that's going to come up while this Venus is retrograding in Leo. Maybe you don't like any of your clothes. Maybe you don't like the way you look at any of your clothes, right? You're going to start picking little things apart and stuff like that, especially while the moon is in Virgo during the first part of this, and then the Mars is still here. And Black Moon Lilith is going to go into Virgo as well. So there's definitely going to be this fear of as far as like, is everything like in order? Is everything neat and stuff like that? And if it's not neat, oh my gosh, what was me? Like that's what's going to happen. You're going to be like, oh crap, if everything's not 100% put together and super neat, then oh no, it's the end of the world. Like that's how we're going to be feeling. But the sun in Leo is going to definitely inject some positivity into this. But you have to have the courage and the bravery and the boldness to step into your authenticity, step into your light, step into that shine, and be you regardless of the circumstances, regardless of how you may feel in that moment. Remember, feelings can be fleeting. They move. Like the moon moves really, really fast, right? We can get so caught up on a feeling that might have passed or whatever like that. And the feelings can come back around, you know what I mean? They can come back around, but I'm saying like sometimes we get so caught up on that we lose sight of the present moment. We lose sight of our shine. We lose sight of the love that's in our heart and expressing ourselves and that creative passion and joy. Sometimes we lose sight of that. Now, going into Sunday, of course, it's still intense, right? The sun is still dealing with this opposition to Pluto, but now it's in Leo. Remember what I said with the thing yesterday where I was talking about how, you're at the end of your rope and you're trying to figure out how you're going to beat this boss and you pull out your secret weapon. And I said the secret weapon is the sun going into Leo. Well, yeah, this is definitely that moment where it's like just once the sun goes into Leo and we'll really start to feel it on Sunday. I think that'll be a very powerful day to just, recognize like your shine, recognize your light, recognize your beauty, recognize your gifts, your talents, what to be grateful for, to recognize all of that, because it's going to be that gratitude for that gratitude to know that you are a child of God. Recognizing that is going to be what propels you to victory. It's just going to propel you to victory, coming out of nowhere. You know what I mean? You didn't even realize you had a whole nother level. You didn't realize you had a whole other level beyond that. It's just like the breaker point. This is like the point where it's like your Pokemon gets to level 100 and you didn't even realize that you can get to level 200. And it's like, wait, that's breaking like rules and stuff like that. Well, yeah, the rules have always been that you can only go to level 100. But there's a breaker right here. And you can push through and break through and grow to another level, beloved. That moon is going to trine Pluto before, earlier in the day on Sunday. It's going to trine Pluto and then it's going to ingress into Libra, right? So there's definitely this sort of feeling, with that, with the moon being in Virgo, definitely wanting to look at how everything is organized and stuff, how we feel about it, and how we can kind of juxtapose our day-to-day reality against sort of like the worldly reality, if you will, and just be like, you know what? It's going to be kind of one of those moments where it's like, you know what? So long as I have my shit together, I can navigate this world that may not have its full shit together. right? If I have my shit together in Virgo, I can deal with the world and the craziness of the world and how intense it may seem and out of sync it may seem. I can deal with that because the world is just a larger unit. But if you break that larger unit down, you break it down into, you have the world, you have countries, right? Then you have states, and you have counties, and you have towns, cities, right? You have communities within those towns and cities, and then you have families, and then you have you. Oh, it's coming down pretty good out there. It all starts with you. It all starts with you, beloved. It all starts with you. Mercury will trine Uranus as well on this day. A little bit later in the day, mind you, but Mercury will start to trine Uranus. Well, it's in the morning, like 9:43 a.m. or so. It'll start to trine Uranus, or not trine Uranus, square Uranus. Excuse me. It's going to square Uranus. National Weather Service, a flash flood warning is in effect for this area until 1 a.m. Do not attempt to travel unless you are fleeing an area subject to flooding or under evacuation order. Well, just got one of those little weather alerts. So yeah, we are going to have that Mercury square Uranus. Now, what's interesting is that the day before we had Mercury and the moon trine Uranus. Now we have Mercury squaring that energy. So it's like, oh, of course I want to speak out about what's really in my heart and what I really want to create. But will I be accepted? Will I be accepted by others? Newsflash, Uranus is already kind of breaking down and transforming and throwing a wrench into everyone's value system right now and really challenging that. And there's going to be this element of like, well, are we really going to be willing to speak up and speak our truth? And really stand on that? And will it stand the test of time? Is it something that we could hold up to the light and it maintains its integrity, right? Because you can speak your truth, right? But does it have integrity? Will it stand the test of time? Because let's be real, we all have different opinions and we all have different truths. Some opinions and some truths suck. Let's just be real, okay? Let's just be real. Like, there are people out there where they feel like it's their opinion that a certain group of people is lesser than them because of the color of their skin. That's a shitty truth, right? That may be what they believe to be true in their opinion, but it's a shitty one because it goes against the laws of the universe and nature. It goes against unity. It goes against what's in our heart. It goes against God, right? But God allows these things to exist for contrast, to strengthen our resolve, and to really know if we're about it. So yeah, it's going to be a moment where it's like, yeah, some things, some truths, some opinions that people have, they need to come out into the public forum. That's why we have these things. That's why we have social media to expose these things. Will it stand this test of time? Will it stand up in the light or will it decay? Will it crumble? Will it be like a witch and melt? Will it be like a witch and melt in the sun? Or if you throw water on it, will it melt? I'm melting. Are you going to melt? Are you going to shine? Are you going to be quiet, whisper? Or are you going to have some bravado in your chest? What is it going to be, right? Oh my goodness. Like, for real though, like, kick off a 40-year cycle from now into 2063, where we only have Venus retrogrades in Leo. Whenever Venus retrogrades in Leo, there are other Venus retrogrades during that time in other signs, but as far as Venus starting their retrograde in Leo and coming back into or staying in Leo for the duration of that particular transit, it kicks off another 40-year cycle, right? Because Venus will retrograde again, but it'll be in different signs, you know what I mean? But it's just solely in Leo. We kick off that cycle now. So we're dealing with the matters of the heart, love, passion. you know, this is definitely going to be a moment where it's like you will start to be able to tell who really has like spirit within them. Who, I mean, I think we're all connected to spirit, but who has like a soul? Who's in there? You know what I mean? Who has a story, a journey, a quest within them? When you look into someone's eyes, can you tell that there's a spark there? Because some people, you can look at them and you're like, you wonder if there's anything there because they've been crushed and steamrolled and they feel dilapidated by the world and past trauma and past lives, and they haven't been able to forgive themselves and they haven't been able to forgive others, and they just feel like a husk, a shell of what they once were. And this is going to be the moment where those who, when you look into their eyes and you see that spark, it's going to get brighter. That's what I get started today. What I most likely will do as far as this Venus retrograde goes is that because we're getting towards the end of the month and it'll be about time to do the August tarot readings for the 12 signs, I will simply incorporate the Venus retrograde into that, even though by that time we would have already been about 9 days or so into the retrograde. But I will incorporate it into that as well. So since the Venus retrograde is going to go throughout the entirety of August. So it's something that I'll cover in that one. As far as drawing, I'll draw like a particular card for the Venus retrograde for each of the 12 signs. But for this one, I'm still going to just do an overall message. So, all right, what are the cards that we have for this weekend astrology forecast? July 22nd and 23rd of 2023. Let's see what we got here. Okay. What do we got here? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Hey. Oh shit, we got the Tower card. Oh no. We got the Tower card. Of course we would get the Tower card. Tower card followed by, well, we got the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands here. And we also have, oh, interesting. We have the Princess, or the Page, if you will, but in this deck, it's the Princess of Pentacles, or Discs, in reverse. Going to cut the deck and pull a card from the middle. We have the Seven of Wands in reverse, actually. And then bottom of the deck, since I'm doing quite a bit here, bottom of the deck, you do have the Three of Cups in reverse. It does kind of signify this whole weekend and how crazy it's about to be, because you can definitely feel that something is about to shift. Something is being destroyed, being broken. It's going to be kind of like a tower moment for a lot of us in many ways. And I don't think it has to be necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't be a terrible thing, right? But you can definitely see the split that's happening, right? And even at the towards the bottom of it, it's like there's like no salvaging this tower, so it's coming down. Now we have the Three of Wands afterwards. Now what's interesting is normally it shows someone like looking out over a cliff, but this guy definitely looks like a demon. I mean, he has like these claws and everything like that. He almost looks like he's like kind of like in the midst of a transformation, if you will. He's like in the midst of a transformation. So I'm not sure if this is the cause of the tower moment, if you will. What's interesting here, though, is that we do have this Princess of Pentacles in reverse still. So there's definitely gonna be this element where, I feel like there may be a kind of a loss of innocence almost with this energy. Maybe a clamoring for the innocence, if you will, but there's definitely a loss of innocence here with it being reversed. Now, I do want to check something. I feel like I should know this. I want to say, because it shows like the different symbols for the elements. Yeah, that's what I thought. So now this is the symbol for Earth, right? The triangle, right? Now that is reversed, though, you can see that it actually becomes the symbol for air, with a flat base and the top. So there's this, it's the symbol for air. And it kind of looks like a mountain almost. It kind of looks like we're about to like climb up a mountain, if you will. So I think there's this sort of moment where, you know what, there's this tower moment, something collapses, right? Three of Wands is like we have to really make a choice and definitely commit to a path. But there's definitely this sort of transformation that happens here, right? And now there's sort of like this somewhat of a loss of innocence, if you will, where now it's simply not just we planted the seeds in our life and waiting for them to grow. Now, no, we have to go climb this mountain now. But there's the Seven of Wands energy too. Now, mind you, it is reversed. So I think there's this feeling like we may feel like we have to defend ourselves along the way, but or like kind of stand on our principles, stand our ground and stuff like that. I think a lot of this really it's like this is like the tale of two stories. The first two cards deals with the collapse, it deals with the transformation, and then the second two has to deal with the climb, the journey afterwards, getting to the top of the mountain. This tower moment can just simply it doesn't necessarily have to be like something like just tragic happens. It can just be you realizing that you are at the bottom of a valley and now it's time for you to go up. You know what I mean? And maybe just the realization that now it's time to go up, that you're starting from a base level and now you're going up, right? And then this is sort of like that boss battle. If this is sort of like that boss, if you will, and now you got to fight this dude after you chose, because remember how yesterday we got the Two of Wands, right? Now it's like you come up against the Three of Wands, and this is like the first boss that you meet on that path, right? So you have to kind of like really dig deep within. Now I think it's interesting what the bottom of the deck is the Three of Cups, right? So there's definitely going to be like there's definitely this danger to where it's like, man, I think have fun, but don't overdo it, because if you overdo it, you may seriously like create like a tower moment. Excuse me, for yourself, for real. Like it's the kind of moment where it's just like you sleep with the wrong person, you have one too many drinks, Three of Cups reversed with all this sort of energy too. I would be very cautious and aware of overdoses this weekend with all this energy, especially with Venus going retrograde, looking for some type of comfort, looking to just try and feel good. With the sun going here and Venus sparking off another 40-year cycle of retrogrades only in Leo, sun opposing Pluto. Three of Cups in reverse is definitely giving me just like be wary of like potential overdoses and stuff like that. You may unfortunately hear about some of these things. Maybe that's a tower moment. Maybe you hear about someone that maybe you get the news about someone that they just took it a little too far. There's the danger there as well. So definitely pretty intense, I will say. Just because of the intensity of it, I am going to get one more card. I'm gonna look at what's under the Three of Cups. So, well, we have the Two of Pentacles, right? So you can see him. He's kind of just holding up the Pentacles. He has a bit of a smug look on his face. Yeah, there we go. He has a bit of a smug look on his face, right? But he has the Two of Pentacles here too. So it's like, while we may not be able to party as hard as we really want to this weekend, we can take solace in the fact that if we just put one step in front of the other and just recognize our value and stuff like that, and really just take it one step at a time, that we can make it through this moment. We can make it through the intensity of this moment, because there's definitely feelings of this boss battle, something crashing, a loss of innocence, having to climb the mountain, initiation energy I'm getting as well. I'm getting a lot of initiation energy here too. The Seven of Wands is like this feel like this need to feel like we have to defend ourselves or defend a lifestyle, but maybe this thing isn't necessarily worth defending anymore. There's some sort of transformation that's happening here. Massive transformation that's happening here. So no pressure. But yeah, it's just going you'll see it. Like it's going to get pretty dramatic over the next 40 days. And really for the rest of the year, but it's going to get pretty freaking dramatic. So now let's see. What is the animal messenger for this? All right. Oh, we got the tortoise. Interesting. The tortoise. when changes are made for the sake of change itself resist. Yeah, we got to make sure that the changes that we make sense. We got to make sure that the changes that we make are aligned with our heart and what we really want to do and what we came here to do and the mission, the quest that was imbued in us by God. But just making a change just for the sake of change itself, just to feel better, is not really going to get us anywhere. We got to be solid like the tortoise, which definitely is like it's interesting too because it's like water. It's like water meets earth as far as the vibes go. It feels very sturdy, but at the same time, it can be pretty fluid. I mean, generally sea tortoises are sea turtles. But yeah, there's definitely this element where it's like we want to feel solid, but we don't want to just make changes just for the sake of change, just for the sake of, well, I just got to do something. I think if you just feel like you just got to do something just to kind of change your situation or get out of a situation, Ryan, this is definitely the time to just kind of take a chill pill. I think the Three of Cups in reverse is sort of like the chill pill. You know what I mean? It's like, no, you can have fun and stuff like that, but you don't have to go overboard. You can go to the party, just don't take that drug that random person gives you, whatever like that. You may have gotten away with taking it the last few times, but you may not get away with it so like easily and unscathed this time. So just take a chill pill. You know what I mean? Just keep it simple, keep it light. Don't do anything too crazy, and just there's gonna be this element I could really feel it, and I just like want to almost like send out like a prayer. It's just like just hold your ground and be steady and stuff like that, and just don't allow those influences to come in and to make you feel like you have to make some sort of crazy radical change just for the sake of change itself, just so you can feel better. You'll get through this moment. You don't have to do that. Just listen, just kind of come in silence, listen, be one with God, be one with the universe, be one with nature, you know, and just allow, you know, just allow these moments to pass where we feel like we just have to do something just for the sake of doing it. We got to think a little bit more critically here. It's going to be tough, but we just got to be a little bit more critical about this. You can't just like rush right into these things, especially with the Venus retrograde, especially with Sun opposed Pluto, especially with all that. Feeling called to pull one of these books and go to like a random page or so. So I think I'm gonna do that. Actually, I'm gonna go to my own book because I wrote a poetry book, y'all. And I'm going to go to page 28 if there is 28 pages. But this is my book, Therapeutic Poetry. There is a page 28. What poem is on page 28? Well, it's a couple of different things. The name of the poem is called Movies and Memes. I'll read it to you guys. The heroine to my hero is an amazing heroine. However, there are often times these days when I wish I had not placed myself in said role, as you not on the pedestal. For now I desire simplicity, like a walk on the beach or in the park, a giggle over ice cream, a late night convo about funny movies and memes, eating pizza till we become it, and being okay with just laying there. As heroes, we have to answer the ever ringing distress call, but I want no such stress. Just a simple enjoyment of the moments with you. Saving the world can wait, which is funny looking back because I always wanted to be that guy with the superpowers. Seems I've discovered my most powerful attribute is to walk away from all of the heaviness of saving all and just building our legacy with you right now. I think this was me just writing a poem about my wife. But I think that kind of makes sense though. It's like I think there's this element where some of us feel like we just have to save the world. And this is gonna be a moment where it's like, while we are going into a world that's going to feel a little bit more extroverted and stuff, at least that's what the Leo King's been saying, and I actually do feel that. There's definitely a moment where it's like this isn't really about focusing on like trying to save the world. This is just a moment where we just kind of focus on you saw how that poem was all about joy, explaining about the things that made the character. I mean, it was me, but let's just say the character in that poem talking about his heroine, or if it's a heroine talking about her hero, or a hero talking about his hero, or heroine talking about her heroine, because it's 2023, right? But the focal point of that poem was just someone's like trying to just not be so focused on the world, saving the world, and just focusing on enjoying the present moment and enjoying the love that he shares with this individual. And I think that's going to be a really important lesson for this Venus retrograde is we can have love for others, we can have love for the world, but this is going to be more about realizing, like, having the love for ourselves and receiving that love, and for those who are really close to us. And once we strengthen those relationships, the other units that those that are built from those smaller units will naturally begin to work themselves out. If we can work on ourselves and then the family and the local communities and work on those aspects, then it naturally will begin to grow and proliferate out. Of course, we utilize, like, you guys are my family from the internet, whatever like that. So we can utilize these other great aspects to really share the love and spread the love. But yeah, don't worry about trying to save the world right now. It's not about trying to save the world. Just focus on doing you and just expressing yourself and being creative and just shining your light, because that's what's going to really create the most impactful and positive change. So yeah, it's going to be a interesting weekend. I'm working pretty much the whole weekend too, so it's like I work tomorrow until like 4 o'clock, and then I get off before I get off before Venus goes retrograde. And Saturday and then Sunday, I have like an out of store event that I'm going to be setting up with my company. So I'll be like doing that. Hopefully it's not raining the whole weekend. I'm not sure if it's going to be, but we'll see. But yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for this weekend astrology forecast video. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. And if you'd like a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. And I will see you guys on the Monday astrology forecast. And I will it probably will be Mondays when I do the filming of the August tarot reports for the 12 signs, because I work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at my day job. So I'm gonna need probably that whole Monday to film them. So rather just get them all out in one day. So anyways, y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful weekend. I know it's intense. I know it's going to seem crazy. I know it's going to seem challenging, but trust me, there's a lot of beauty there. There's a lot of positivity there, and we will make it through this. So y'all take care, stay blessed. I'll see y'all on the other side of this portal. Peace out.